How's it going, boys? Johnny Superbian here, and it's time for another race in the Superbian Grand Prix. Race number 4, the Tunnel Twist Circuit. This race is all about high speed and tight turns. You're going to be seeing plenty of crashes during this race. So the features for this race are 4 turns and 1 bottleneck. Alright, it's fairly straightforward, and it all starts right off the beginning here. You have a straightaway that goes through the tunnel, and that's why it's called the tunnel twist, because you go this way and you come back the other way. But right here is where you run into your first bout of contact, just because with the straightaway, everyone catching up, everyone's trying to make their way to the front of the pack, you're not going to be able to get out of this tunnel without seeing a crash or two. So take the crash, don't ruin anybody else's day, take the crash, and you'll be able to catch up to the pack. Next up comes the bottleneck, and this is what helps you catch up. When you exit the tunnel, you're on the highway, and everybody basically has to take the exit right there to the right. And on lap number 1 especially, there's always going to be physicality. It's impossible to get through this straightaway just because everyone's catching up with those drifts, and as you can see, the contact is crazy. So right after the bottleneck, it goes into turn number 1, and it's 2 90-degree turns. It's actually easy to take. You want to slow down. You don't want to drift all the way to the other side of the road. Just take it like that, nice and slowly, right? But again, if it's on lap number 1, it is going to create some contact. Just after the bottleneck, if you do make it through, if you're in first place, you got someone tight on your ass, you know, they're going to run into the back of you. So take the contact. Again, after the turn number 1 comes another straightaway where you go back into the tunnel, and this is where you can catch up to the rest of the pack. So don't worry about the bottleneck. Don't worry about turn number 1. Use the straightaways to catch back up. But here's where it gets really crazy. Turn number 2 is a 180-degree turn after a straightaway. There's really no avoiding contact here. Some people like to take it tight, some people like to take it wide, some people like to just drive straight into everybody else and use them as bumper cars to make the turn. There's really no set strategy to take this turn. You're always going to hit someone else unless you're at the back of the pack or you're all by yourself and you can just take it nice and easy. So, you know, if you're in 12th, you're back of the pack, you know, you can take it nicely and you will catch up. So this race is all about, you know, going into those turns and trying to avoid contact. Right after turn number 2 comes turn number 3. Same thing, it's a tight turn, but because it's right after turn number 2, you can usually get to it with not a lot of people, but if there are people there, there will be contact. Right after it, it leads into a little bit of an S turn, and you want to take it just like that. And here's the last turn, turn number 4. Now, there's 2 ways you can take turn number 4. You can take it on the inside lane, just like this. But if you take it on the inside lane with a little bit too much speed, you might drift like that and lose all your speed, right? Here's what you want to do if you're on the inside lane. Ride this exit lane, slow down, ride that exit lane, and cut right across. That way you won't drift. But what I like to do is I like to go out to the outside, right? Take the outside lane. That way you can drift a lot easier. But you want to watch out for that lamppost. So this is exactly what you want to do. You want to stay on the outside, avoid everyone on the inside, look for that exit lane, slow down, and then accelerate once you know you've made the turn right over, and you should be able to catch people in the following straightaway. Alright, so for anyone who wants to play the map, it's right there on the GTA map. Alright, it's the Tunnel Twist Circuit, a high-speed, high-contact race. If you're interested, follow us on Twitter and wait for that GTA retweet.